I remember the first time I started posting videos, I was in a poultry group, a WhatsApp poultry group.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone starts sharing links to the videos in the group. And farmers at that time didn't want the farming knowledge to spread because they wanted to be the only ones in the business. You understand? So when I kept posting videos, other farmers would be like, he's lying, he's doing this, because I was spreading their secrets or spilling their secrets.
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Janita Mai and this is the REPAT podcast. We do have a fan favorite in studio today. I'll let him tell you who he is.
Hi guys.
A fan favorite, are you not?
I hope so.
They like you here.
I'm glad to know that. Well,
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Daniel from FarmUp, and I've been at Kenganda twice before, and I'm always glad to be around, and meet or share and join. I'm a poultry farmer. I used to be a medical doctor. These days I introduce myself as a farmer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still say Dr. Daniel. Probably I should stop. Everyone knows me as Dr. Daniel, though,
Yeah.
so I keep saying that. Yeah, and I stopped practicing medicine because farming became too sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe that's why I'm here today.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank
O'Shea.
you.
Dr. O'Shea.
I used to be also a doctor.
Yeah.
And I also stopped. So formerly Dr. O'Shea Duke Jackson, MD, but now a pest in Africa causing problems among the podcasting world. Glad to be around one of my favorite content creators who has more money than me. He won't let me borrow any money, but I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
O'Shea, take this one.
So Dr. Dan has just been a person I really have looked up to. I remember when I first reached out to him and I went to Mbale. He's like, listen, you can come, but you got to drive here. So it took like 7 or 8 hours to go there to the village. And then we stayed at the hotel, went there.
Yeah.
Your grandmother at the time was still living. I
yes.
briefly saw her.
Oh, yeah?
And I was afraid, maybe we could play some videos in the back of the chickens, if you can remember.
Yeah, I do remember.
I was really scared of them. And I had tennis shoes on. You made me change my shoes and things.
Gumboots.
Yeah. And man, I've seen you do something that no other creator has done in Africa. Even more than mine. I was like, do you know who this guy is? I said, yeah, I can show you who he is. And you've taken content creation into farming or both. I mean, it's exploded everywhere.
Oh, yes.
And I used to laugh. I'm going to be honest. When somebody would talk about poultry farming, I think Kingo Batunda, maybe we could put his picture up. He said he wanted to start a poultry farm. I said, man, you're a loser. What do you mean poultry farm? Because we're both from the United States. Because you can't get into farming when you're from the city in the States. I said, you're silly. Then I met you, and I was like, shit. There's nothing silly about this.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess, you were a medical doctor before. You're doing, you're doing layers. Now you're selling day-old chicks, which is amazing. Tell me, the poultry industry, why did you want to get started in the poultry industry? And what opportunities did you see?
Oh, yes. So the way I got started in the poultry industry is that I actually had no interest in poultry at all. Okay. For me, I was a doctor who had graduated and I wanted a side hustle. I was just looking for side money.
Okay.
And I was actually going to be doing greenhouse farming. You know greenhouse farming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. My plan was to grow tomatoes in greenhouses. And on this day, I meet this greenhouse expert. I make a meeting with him, meet him, and we have a meeting. He gives me all the figures. And then just before we separate, he tells me, I think poultry would do better for you.
Whoa.
That was crazy. Because how does an expert at greenhouse farming recommend something else? And, it rang a bell in my head. I told myself, there's something he's certainly not telling me about the greenhouse farming. Okay. Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. Okay. Yeah. If he thinks there's a better opportunity somewhere else, something he hasn't told me, it might not be as good as I might think and as good as he has told me. So I explored the idea of poultry. So I went back, did my research and everything and saved up some money and started a poultry farm. But by the time I started, for me, it was simply business. You understand? And you've talked about the content journey.
Yes.
The time when I started, the thing that really got me to start doing content was because when I was looking to start, I tried to look for information. I didn't go to school to study poultry.
Yeah.
Nothing. So I tried to look for information. It was nowhere.
Okay.
The videos I would find on YouTube were crappy. They were in Uganda.
Right.
Stuff was blurry and you could barely see nothing, So I told myself, this is certainly a gap.
Yes.
So when I do start, I'm going to share this with people.
Okay.
And of course I did know that YouTube pays, but at that point, the biggest goal was that I want people to not go through the same problems I went through to get the information. If someone wants to start.
Yes.
But I also certainly saw it as an opportunity for me to grow in the content world. And the other thing is that I knew that putting my videos out there would actually draw clients towards me. Lots of clients. And I think it has worked out.
It's worked out because I have people that I know, won't call their names, that have support. And you're an awesome creator, man. You're not just good. You're excellent. Like, I don't even like poultry as a business myself right now. But when I watch your videos, I'm like, I find myself to the end of the video.
Oh, yeah?
And something that I would not watch for somebody, I would never watch it for somebody else. There's only other one person that I watched poultry videos. It's called AIM, AIM. You know those guys from Kenya?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
But man, you make it seem so fun, so interactive. And it got me interested in the industry myself. But let's just talk about another group of people because so many people are in the diaspora.
Okay.
Ugandan diaspora in particular that are seeing the things that you are seeing on the ground and you've expanded. What are the opportunities for those people who are from like Uganda or any other parts of Africa that want to come in and get in the game and help improve the industry? What do you see there for other people?
Oh, yes, there's certainly loads of opportunities in the poultry industry in Uganda. I read a lot of information about the poultry industry. For example, if you compare it to countries like South Africa, even just in Africa, countries like South Africa, and then you get to Europe, and then you get to, North America, those guys are doing crazy, numbers in poultry business. Even in South America, Brazil, I read the numbers. They produce loads and loads of chickens. You understand? Loads of chickens, loads of eggs. Here in Uganda, despite the fact that there's a lot of poultry farmers, a lot of them are small scale, really small scale. And these are farmers who can't sustain business, because they do it as a hobby, I would say. Okay. Not really as a business, you understand? They don't know how much money they put in yesterday. They don't know how much money they put into the farm over the last 1 year. They do business, I would say they gamble, They gamble? Yeah, they hope at the end of the month they'll have some money left.
Okay, let me explain. Like they hope to gamble. Like what is that process like?
Yeah, so you see, there are two main expenses. Oh, I say one major expense when it comes to poultry, and that's the chicken feed.
Okay.
Yes, that takes up around 70 to 80% of your expenses.
Yes. Now,
if you save money with the poultry feed, you're making a lot of money. Now, the thing is that the poultry feed industry in Uganda fluctuates so much. It's very fragile because of the cost of maize. Maize is around 60% of your feed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the cost of maize, for example, right now is around 900 shillings. It has dropped.
Okay.
Sometimes it can get down to as low as 700 shillings or 600 shillings. But there's time it will go up. Last year at around this time, we were paying 2,200 shillings for a kilogram.
Wow.
So for someone who once paid 700, that's 3 times the price.
Yes.
You understand? So for a smart farmer, what you would do is buy when the price of maize is down, which is at harvest time.
Yes.
Keep it. And when the price goes up, you don't have to spend. Now, most farmers actually don't have money available to buy maize and keep. Or they're not smart enough to think that actually counts.
Oh.
You understand? So what happens is that when the price of maize goes up, people get out of business because they can't keep anything. You understand?
Okay. You have a way of like storing that maize,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
So you have to, spend some money, if you maybe keep 10, 20 tons, 30 tons, depending on how big your farm is. At my farm, there's a time I was using about 6 tons of maize every day. That's 6,000 kilograms of maize every day.
That's in Luwero.
Yeah, in Nakaseke. It's crazy. That's crazy. 6,000 kilograms of maize every day. You understand? So currently with the smaller farm, I use about 500 kilograms of maize every day, but still that's nothing small. That's around 3.5 tons a week. You understand? So you need to be able to plan properly.
Yes.
And most farmers around the small scale farmers don't understand that.
Okay.
Yes. And so because of that, that's what causes the variations. The poultry market in Uganda is not stable.
Yes.
The eggs will become scarce. Everyone will be looking for eggs. Then at some point, everyone has eggs because probably the price of maize is cheap. Everyone has gotten back into business.
Yes.
And then when things become complicated, everyone disappears. It's only the bigger people who can sustain it.
Okay.
So that's where the opportunity comes in.
Okay.
For someone who has money available.
Okay.
It's something that you can get into. And the other thing is that when you do start the business, the people around, the smaller farmers, can't sustain it. They disappear. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the other thing that has happened.
I just want to ask one thing before we go to Jonita.
Yeah.
The market and demand for poultry, I understand that we have these entrepreneurs who are coming in and out of the market.
Yeah.
I understand that, right?
Yes.
But I want to position one thing to you. Is the market itself expanding?
100%.
In comparison to, let's say, for example, when I first saw you in 2020.
Exactly.
The market is bigger now.
Yes.
How much bigger is the demand from when we first came
now?
down?
It's crazy. It's quite interesting to think about it. Mm-hmm. You see, the time that we first met,
yes,
was, I believe, just after COVID. Correct?
It was
during COVID.
It was right before
COVID.
COVID really hit hard.
Yes,
before the first lockdown.
So the market was actually quite big.
Okay,
and production was quite big.
Okay,
before COVID.
Yes,
you understand. Now, when COVID came, it wiped out a lot of farmers.
Okay.
A huge percentage. I would say even 50% of farmers disappeared. Yeah. So right now, it's just starting to rebound. It hasn't reached the pre-COVID levels. You understand? Okay. It hasn't, because a lot of people got out of business. Oh. Yeah, so people are just trying to recover. But even at that time, it was still expanding. You can imagine. Okay. Even at that time, it was growing. Okay. So right now, people are just getting back to those levels, pre-COVID levels. But they haven't even gotten back. Oh. Yeah, we haven't reached that point. So it's expanding. There's still a lot of opportunities. Okay. And the other thing is that in poultry business, there's a lot that can be done. Number one, you can choose to sell eggs. Yeah. Yes. You can choose to sell the chickens. Sorry, the chicken itself, grown-up chicken. Is that dressed chicken?
Okay, that's not broilers, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the broilers. Okay. You can do day-old chicks like I'm doing. That's a bit more complicated. Yeah. Really complicated.
And sorry, I noticed that I noticed you started at layers first.
Yes, exactly.
Then I don't know if you're doing broilers and layers at the same time.
No, I wasn't doing broilers. Because personally, from my experience and from what I've gotten to know from the industry, it's more lucrative to do layers. Than broilers. Okay. You understand? And then I went into the old chicks, but the old chicks is it's complicated. Okay. It needs proper expertise. I hire some of the best experts in managing a breeder farm. That's called a breeder farm in Uganda. Okay, I probably have the topmost expert in Uganda. Okay, at the farm. So it's quite complicated, but it's doable. But it's expensive and complicated.
Yes, but what I'm saying is you started at layers first.
Exactly.
At that part of the value chain.
Exactly.
Before expanding into the other parts of the value chain.
And then beyond that, there's feed. Yeah, you can make poultry feed and sell it. It's huge on the market. Very, very huge.
It's a big business.
Yeah.
Big business. Huge business.
Opportunity.
Very big opportunity. Very, very big. Because honestly, a lot of the feeds in Uganda actually imported. Oh. Yeah, they imported. A lot of the feed is imported from Belgium, from Netherlands. Yeah. You understand?
Yeah, I've seen a guy that has even pig feeds. I see the guys
from Belgium, from Netherlands. So, and if the feed can be made from here, it would certainly be cheaper for you to sell. You'd have a competitive advantage over such people.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I've seen people, we've been to some farms, some poultry farms, and you can hear farmers say, oh, all my chicks, can I say chicks? Or all my hens died. Maybe they're like attacked by a disease or something like that. Is that something you've experienced, or is that something poultry farmers should expect?
Yeah, no, it's not something you should expect. It's something you can avoid. You understand? Yes. It's not just only praying. I do believe in prayer, but there's things you need to do to avoid it.
Please tell us.
For example, currently in the world, there's, I think in South Africa, there's a bird flu outbreak. Now, when you get such outbreaks, they're hard to control. They even in Europe, in the topmost and best farms, some things are hard to avoid. You understand? Just like COVID virus came around in the world. It's hard to avoid. But there's a lot of other things that you can actually do and avoid.
Yeah.
I've personally had an outbreak on the farm before. But it was a learning point for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in poultry business, the two main things that put people out of business is number one, failure to manage the feeding in terms of either the cost, because you didn't plan properly and the prices rise and now you're out of business because you can't afford the feed.
Yeah.
Or poor mixing of the feed.
Yeah.
And the second thing is disease outbreaks on the farm. So disease outbreaks come around because people don't pay keen attention. You see, the thing is, with human lives, you say if you produce your own baby, you do everything you can to protect your baby from disease. You vaccinate your children. We call it immunization.
Yeah.
You immunize our children. You make sure that the home is clean.
Yeah.
If you're feeding them with a bottle, you clean the bottle, wash it.
Expose them.
Yeah, clean it in hot water, give them properly cooked food and things like that. When it comes to farming, people don't want to do those things. But they don't remember that chickens are also living things.
Yeah.
They get disease. You understand? Eh?
Yes.
So you need to put in place the precautionary measures to prevent that. So on my farm, for example, not anyone comes and visits.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? Yeah. I don't allow people to come and visit. Because of the YouTube channel, I get a lot of people who want to come and visit the farm every day.
I wanted to come and visit. You said no.
Yes, exactly. People want to visit me every day. I get multiple emails, but I can't. Because you want to come and visit for your pleasure or for your learning purposes.
Right. Yeah.
But it could cost me a lot of money.
Yes.
So, for example, you're not allowed to visit. Secondly, if you must visit, for example, I could have a vet come over or, maybe regulatory authorities. There are precautionary measures you have to go through.
Yes.
There's a fence around the farm, so not everyone comes close to the farm.
Yeah.
You need to take a bath. You need to put on overalls.
Yeah.
There are places I still won't allow you to go to. You understand? I need to make sure that you haven't visited a farm in the past 3 days. You understand? So there are particular measures I'm put in place.
You still have them dip their feet into that water.
Exactly. When a vehicle comes over these days, we need to spray the tires, we need to spray it.
There's a farm that did that.
Exactly, yeah. So those are the things. So there are precautionary measures to take. So if you don't take those precautionary measures, it's inevitable the birds are going to get sick. You're living at God's mercy. Yeah. So it's not something people should expect, but it's very avoidable. Some things, like I've said, cannot be avoided. But a lot can be avoided.
Okay. Speaking about the business side of it, we're speaking behind the camera and you talked about locations.
Yes.
Tell us the locations you have farm up at.
Yeah, so I sell day-old chicks, and because of that, I have different outlets around the country.
Okay.
I have at least 10 outlets in Uganda, and in addition to that, I have agents. I have outlets as far as Eastern Uganda, as Mbale, Ginger Mbale.
Yeah.
In Western Uganda, I have Mbarara, I have in Masaka, that's on the way to the west. I have in Kampala, I have in Hoima, I have in Wakiso, that's in Central Region.
Yeah, okay.
I have in Mitiana, I have in Mubende, I have in Gulu. So I have quite a number of outlets around the country.
So for someone looking to start out, what location do you think would be the best for them?
Well, in reality, going on the ground and doing a survey of the area is very important. You understand? Even if you assume that it would do good in that area, it's good to go there. But of course, I've had experience being in the poultry industry myself. The one thing that I've personally experienced is that, number one, broilers, which are the chickens for meat, do better in urban settings. Because in the rural settings, people want to eat local chicken.
True.
Yeah. In rural settings, you give someone a broiler, they'll tell you it's not tasty.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not
soft.
chicken. Yeah, broiler chicken is not tasty in terms of stew. You want to deep fry it.
Think of it.
Or you want to oven bake or roast it. You understand?
Yeah.
But you don't want to cook it as stew. And most people up country cook their chicken as stew.
True.
You understand? In the villages. So if you want to do a broiler farm, unless you're in a small town setting, but with no broilers around, it wouldn't be good. Now, broilers are perfect in the urban setting. And for example, recently, over the last 1 year, it's been so difficult to get broilers. So difficult. People are looking for them everywhere because they're not there. So everything that's produced is sold off. The the street vendors, the guys who roast chicken. Yeah, they're looking for the chickens everywhere. You understand? But then if you want to do eggs currently, I would advise you to go to places that are a bit further from Kampala. Okay. Because around Kampala, there's a lot of farmers. You see, the thing is with starting poultry and this business, it requires quite an amount of money. Yeah, especially the layers. Because you're going to keep the chickens for 18 weeks, feeding them before they give you an egg. You understand? So that means that you're going to put in quite an amount of money. It requires quite some money. So...
Can you give us an example?
I'll give you an example. Yeah. For 1,000 chickens, you need at least 30 million before the chickens start laying.
So 30 million, that's about, let's say roughly for $8,000 US dollars.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. Okay. Around $8,000 US dollars.
Plus you need the land and the structure.
Exactly. You need the land, you need the structure. You understand? Now, what I was talking about was typically the birds and the feed and what, but that's without the structure and the land. You get it? So now $8,000 might not look like a lot of money for someone in the diaspora, but for Ugandans over here, that's crazy money.
Yes,
money. That's too much money. Yeah. You understand? So because of that, you'll find that it's most people who have money, again, around Kampala. So most of the farms will be concentrated in the central region. So the further out you move, the better the opportunities, because the demand over there is less.
Okay.
So the demand is more, but there's less supply.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you also this, because I know that you made a strategic move by taking your farm to Mbale first.
Yeah.
And you were selling at a higher price, less competition.
Yes.
So people are going to want to know, because a lot of this, you're selling your layers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think it's like you're selling your layers to another business, right? It's like wholesale.
The eggs, you mean?
Yes. Do people come and buy, like, I want a carton by myself?
Yeah, so this is what I do.
Yeah.
I produce the eggs, and then I have an outlet.
Oh.
An outlet where I send the eggs. Then anyone else, people from around the area can come and buy. Of course, the minimum I sell is 30 eggs, which is a tray.
Yeah.
Now, but then, in business these days, you have to do deliveries. You understand? So I get clients, a lot of clients from around, and I deliver to them. Like in large numbers, you understand? 100 trays, 200 trays, I deliver to them. Yes.
So, but these people, would you say most of your business is coming from B2B, like business to business?
Yes, it's always business to business, almost always.
Almost always. Okay. So then the question is going to come from somebody. How did you get customers when you started growing your eggs? How did you get clients to buy your eggs over somebody else's eggs?
Well, in the end, it's about reliability. You see, if I'm a business owner and I have a shop where I sell eggs, the last thing I want is for me to need eggs and you don't have the eggs. For me, I give you a call and you can't deliver the eggs. You understand? So that's a problem that a lot of farmers have, or a lot of other, farmers have, that they're not consistent with a particular base. You understand? Okay. And I occasionally get clients. For example, I have clients who I consistently supply, and then you'll get a random client coming to you and he's like, I want 1,000 trays from you. But he's just once in a while he's coming around. I don't sell to him, because if I sell to him, then I won't have nothing to sell to my clients. And my clients will run to someone else and I won't get them back.
Okay.
You understand?
So okay, let me ask you this then, because how were you able to contact those people, like when you first started your...
Yeah, so it's through gaps. Of course, at the beginning, it's quite difficult because you have to get people from other people. Yeah. But as soon as you get someone over, one person, you don't want to lose them. You understand? Oh. Yeah, so get them, make sure you have them, then slowly keep adding onto the group. Keep adding more people onto the group. So it's a slow process. Remember, when I started out, I didn't have too many chickens. I started with 800 birds, and because of that, I was only producing about 20 trays a day. What that meant is that I could grow into the clientele. Yeah. And so every client I pick, I make sure that I retain them. I don't lose that client.
Yes.
And then, so I kept expanding. So I tried to make sure that I am as reliable and consistent as possible to these people who I do supply.
But how did you find them in the first place?
Oh, yes. So finding them is quite difficult, like I said, at the beginning, because everyone they have people who supply them. But the one time that they actually do have a gap and come to you is the opportunity that I use to make sure that I don't lose them. You understand? Yeah. So the thing is that the demand is present. It's not like you're going to struggle to get the demand. It's present. It's just that people have some people already supplying them.
Okay.
The problem is that since there's gaps, there's lack of consistency in supplying.
Okay.
And so that becomes the opportunity for you. And that therein, again, sometimes is the problem for some farmers because there's sometimes a lot of demand. The farmer takes the clients for granted. You understand, So because there's too many people coming to you and they want the eggs, you don't give a damn about them. You don't call them to check on them, The client calls you and they're like, can you deliver for me today? But because you have too many eggs and people are coming to pick them, you're like, no. If you're not coming for them, chill.
Being rude.
Exactly, being rude and everything. But the one thing that helped me is, if you establish the relationship, the goal is to keep the relationship.
Okay.
So if I've told you that I'm going to be supplying you and I'm delivering, I'm going to deliver. Make sure that I deliver to you. You understand? Despite the fact that I'll have people coming over to the shop who want to buy from me, I've made a promise to you to deliver. So I'll consistently make sure that I deliver to you.
Yes.
I'll not take new orders for new clients when my old clients are not fulfilled.
Oh, okay. And so I think that I'm glad you mentioned that because some people are like, they're not loyal.
Exactly.
So basically they're looking at just getting the quick money.
Exactly. So when you're not loyal to the clients are not loyal to you. You understand? Yeah. So they'll also hope, go to someone else and you won't get them back. You understand? Yeah, you won't get them back. If they get a proper supplier, someone who is reliable, someone who is good, they won't get back to you.
So let me also ask you this because I know obviously you've been growing the business. Do you get, like with content creators, which you're also a content creator, there's a level of hatred within the content creator community.
Sure.
Well, Maya gets the brunt of it in our part.
Yeah.
But you're a person that's a big player in the content creator market in Africa, but also in the poultry market.
Yeah.
How do these other farmers, do you hear people trying to, what do they think about your success when you take one of their clients that comes? What are the things you hear about yourself, baby? Do people hate on you?
No. Interestingly, a lot of the farmers, even the farmers I get to hear about, are super motivated by me. Because when I did start out, honestly, when I started out the channel in particular, there were not a lot of people doing what I was doing. You understand? First of all, there was a lot of farmers, but I remember the first time I started posting videos, I was in a poultry group, a WhatsApp poultry group. And so someone starts sharing links to the videos in the group. And farmers at that time didn't want the farming knowledge to spread because they wanted to be the only ones in the business. You understand? So when I kept posting videos, other farmers would be like, he's lying, he's doing this, because I was spreading their secrets or spilling their secrets. You understand? And so at that point, there were haters in the poultry industry. You understand? But now, later, when it started spreading and it became a bit normal, more people started making more YouTube videos and sharing information and things like that. People then got motivated because I won't tell you the number of people who have started poultry farms because of me. A lot of people.
Oh, I can imagine.
A lot of people. And a lot of them are grateful. A lot of them have actually started making YouTube videos because of me about their farms.
I believe it.
And a lot of them, because when I was making my videos, it was genuine. It was honest. You understand? If I had outbreaks on the farm, I would share it. And so people got to appreciate the fact that it's not always sunshine and nice things.
Even you talk about you let your dad have the farm.
Exactly.
And then he had an outbreak.
Exactly. I'll share that. And that makes people trust you because they believe that you're sharing the hardcore thing, the real thing. You understand, eh?
Let me say also, you're the one person that I've ever seen, and it doesn't have to be offensive, but in Uganda, share earnings and profit margins on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I would he's like, how people trick you in the video. Yeah, guys, we talk about the earnings. And I'm like, these guys are not going to go through with this. And you actually give the profit margins. I have never seen I've seen people do it after you now, but I've never seen anybody that transparent about how much money you actually made. And it's not just a common thing here. The people would do something like that.
No, people don't do that. Yeah, people don't want to. But you see, when I started out, and up to now, my goal is to help the people. You understand? And the other thing, well, again, in the end, now this is a bit selfish because I want to draw business towards myself right now. I'm producing the old chicks. I need farmers to join and start. But how will someone join when they don't know what to expect?
Okay.
You understand? So I need to share with them exactly what they need to expect.
Okay.
Because in the end, if I make someone join the business and then they get different from what they expect, I'm accountable. Honestly, I'm accountable for that. You understand? So I want them to know exactly what to expect when they join. And that makes them even trust me more. You understand? The fact that you can share such information. So for me, it's a beautiful thing. There are different reasons why I do, the content sharing. There are very many different reasons. I want to spread the farming knowledge. You understand? But I want to get clients towards myself. And I want to grow the business. The other thing that I learned is that industries generally grow as an industry.
Oh.
It's difficult to grow as a single person in an industry.
True.
You understand? Once the industry expands, you benefit when the industry expands. At the beginning, it feels like you're killing your own competition. You understand? But then if the poultry industry in Uganda grows properly, then our products are standardized. Then we can export products to Dubai, to the Middle East. You understand?
Yes.
Because the industry as a general has grown.
Yes.
And those are the opportunities I'm looking at that smaller farmers would not see.
How good is that industry? I know a lot of people are doing, just because I went to Dubai about 2 months ago.
Exactly.
And I just seen so many farmers bring in matoke on Uganda Airlines.
Exactly.
And there wasn't not even very many suitcases. And it's a big deal. How lucrative is that Oman, Dubai, Qatar market?
I'll tell you, we haven't reached that point because we can't meet the Ugandan market, the Ugandan demand. That's the thing. So we haven't even reached that point.
Yeah.
You understand? So we need to first mix, because personally, I get people calling me that in Kenya, that they want me to supply them with chicks to Kenya. But for bookings in Uganda, for my layers, for example, the old layers, I'm booked up to next year. So how do I supply to people to Kenya when I can't supply people in Uganda?
You're booked up to next year.
Yes. You understand?
What time next year?
Feb next year.
For layers.
Yeah, for layers. So by the time it gets to Feb next year, I'll probably be booked up to June. You understand?
Wow.
So it's because of that. So generally, we need the industry to grow. It's not about being selfish. Yeah? We need to grow, work together and grow the industry. And then we shall be able to do bigger things as a business.
I see.
And it's the same thing when you go to other things. For example, goats. You understand? I'm sure, O'Shea, you haven't been to a supermarket and you find packaged goat's meat. You only find beef. And it's only because we don't produce enough goats to reach the point of packaging. Everything is put
Sold
on a
out.
butcher and it's sold. You understand?
It's true.
Yeah,
Wow.
everything is sold out. You understand? But if we could all grow as a proper goat industry, that we can actually have enough to package and later on export, then that would be a good thing. We need to grow the business and the industry as a people.
I see. And the money is there.
And the money is there. The market is there and the money is in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was well said. Sometimes people look at competition. I like the fact that you look at the positivity in the industry that you're in and whatnot. Now, we're talking about starting. You have a 400-acre farm.
Yes.
But do you think most people know that you started from Bali, or they're just seeing your 400-acre farm now?
Well, the fact that I'm on media, a lot of people understand
Yes.
where I've come from.
Okay.
And it's easy.
Okay, so for someone who just sees the 400-acre farm and thinks, oh, I need to have like a 400-acre farm for me to start, what do you say to someone like that?
Yeah. So farming involves a lot of, you learn a lot of things by experience.
Wow.
And you have to be someone who learns. You understand? You have to be open to learning.
Yeah.
Because when you start, you're going to find a lot of hurdles, a lot of difficulties along the way, and a lot of things that would be considered hard points. For example, for me in particular, the cost of feed, fluctuating. That's something I had to learn the hard way. The diseases coming onto the farm. Now, for a lot of farmers, they don't learn from their mistakes. That's the problem. You see, being in Uganda or in Africa, unfortunately, people believe in a lot of other things besides science. You understand?
Yeah.
So when something bad happens to your farm, you'll blame everything else apart from what you can do.
Yeah.
You'll go to church and pray more.
Yeah, they're bewitching you.
Yes, you'll blame some form of witchcraft. You'll blame your neighbor. You'll blame the worker on the farm for not doing particular things. when the gap is actually you understand? There's a lot of things you can learn.
Okay.
So for me, what happens is that every time I get into a problem, for example, the time I properly faced the feed price affecting me, that's when I noticed, now, I never take loans, but that's when I noticed that it's actually cheaper for me to go and take a loan and buy feed and pay the bank back than waiting for the feed price to rise. Because if I'm 100% certain, which is always certain, that the price of maize is going to be 700 and then get up to 1.4, that's a 100% increase.
Yeah.
You're only going to pay back 25% for a loan, even if you take a really expensive loan. You can even get cheaper loans. You understand? So I would rather go borrow money, keep it, buy the feed, keep it, and pay back later. Pay back at 25 instead of paying back at 100%. You understand? You get it? So those are things I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You understand? The other thing is diseases. You understand? When I got outbreaks of diseases, that's when I noticed that I'm not allowing people on my farm. It didn't matter how
no
nice.
more.
Yeah, even my family, you don't.
Wow.
You understand? Even I'll tell you the truth. Even my dad doesn't come close to the chicken houses.
Does your daughter go close to the chicken?
No.
Because the dad got you an outbreak one time. You talk about
Yes,
it on your
exactly. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I am very strict. So, but then other people get diseases and then they think, I don't know where they think diseases come from. You understand? So the most important thing is to, okay, this has happened to me. It should never happen again. So every time something bad happens, because let's say there's 100 bad things that can happen to you. If one bad thing happens to you and make sure it never happens again, there's only 99 bad things that can happen to you.
Yeah.
With time, you make them less and less.
Yeah.
You understand?
You get
Yeah, so you try to reduce the number of bad things that can happen to you using the actions you carry out.
Right.
You don't just sit down and hope. You understand? And so that's the thing with farming. At the beginning, there's too much for you to learn. But you need to take every hurdle that comes along as something to learn from and make sure it never happens again. And for me, that's what has helped me grow. I'll tell you the truth. I don't know any farmers who have actually expanded as quick as I have. You understand? And I don't think it's a miracle. It's not some demigod that fell upon me. No. I believe it's because of learning and doing things as a result of what I've learned.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, well said. I have
just one last question. Can I borrow some money? Because they said you got it.
What's the one thing people don't know about poultry? Like, you know it, but they don't know it.
Yeah. The one thing about poultry is that it can make you crazy rich. That's the truth. It can make you crazy rich. You see, it's probably not really wise to say it right here, but in Uganda, we are still blessed that the tax man is not too tight on the agriculture industry.
True.
You understand? And so because of that, if you play your game very well, number one, make sure that your feed cost is not too high. And number two, make sure you don't get diseases on the farm. You can get crazy rich. You understand?
Yeah.
You can make lots of money. Lots and lots of money if you do it properly. So it can actually make you a lot of money, but a lot of farmers that I hear about and go to visit, I personally supply a lot of chicks to farmers. Just yesterday I was in Kamoli. I had gone to visit farmers there.
Yeah.
And I'll go and see a farmer. Two farmers I supplied chicks on the very same day. One farmer whose birds are doing perfectly, another one whose birds are dying terribly.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And it's because they just don't know what to do. They don't give it the right attention. They keep the chickens as you see. The thing is that when people sit down there at their homes, or someone is, let's say, an accountant, or someone is working in the bank, and they think about farming, the thing that they think about is, you're 60 years old, you're tired of working, you retire, go out, put on an overall, go move out in the sun with a hat, and you're looking after, you feed your ducks, feed your chickens.
Yeah.
They think about farming as a hobby, not as a business.
Yeah.
You understand it? They don't have books of accounts. They don't have records. They don't know how much money they are putting into the business. You'll ask them, how much have you spent on the farm this last month? They have no idea. They just hope. They spend money, go to the market, buy this, and, get some money from the eggs and hope that at the end of the month you have made some money. You understand? Eh?
Yeah.
They don't take it as a business. You understand? But if you actually pay a lot of attention to it and try to do it the best way that you can, and the best way that it can actually be done, you can make crazy money from farming. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's coming from a guy who felt like that was a joke coming from California. I think your farm was what changed my mind about. We were that close. Like even me and Joan were like, what should we do? We decided to stick with the business here, but maybe one day.
Sure. No, I'm glad.
We'll make Joan get out there.
I'm glad to have you join.
Sure. Yeah. I do love some hens.
Cool. Okay.
I thought you'd actually bring one on your way here.
One last thing. I know that the poultry industry, but I know turkeys is something I keep seeing on like Seeds of Gold. Is the market for turkeys? Maybe we heard about that. Like, is it?
Not so much.
Not so much.
No, not so much.
In Uganda, no.
No, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
It doesn't even taste well. No offense to the turkey lovers.
I love turkey.
Taste as well. That's true.
Very popular in the States.
Yeah,
but your turkeys are different. Our turkeys are a bit still harder, much harder.
Okay.
They move around. They grow locally.
Then they struggle.
They struggle. They go through the struggle.
Yeah.
Your turkeys are grown on proper commercial farms. You understand? So the taste is a bit different.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, so Daniel, for those who are watching, where can they find you if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, first, I have a YouTube channel called Farm Up.
Yes.
You can all go and check it out. Second of all, if you're in Uganda, I have outlets all around the country. Third of all, you can email me, Daniel@farmupgroup.com. And Daniel@farmupgroup.com. Then fourth, we have contacts, WhatsApp contacts. You'll be able to WhatsApp me. You might not be able to call me.
Yeah, we'll put the details in the description. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Sure.
Okay. Oshay, thank you so much, Daniel.
I can barely get a hold of him, so I know y'all don't get a hold of him.
He says call him. Don't text. Call him.
No. Never call me.
Not you, Oshay. Daniel.
WhatsApp, not call.
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
Call you, not WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah, WhatsApp.
Which one do you prefer?
WhatsApp.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not call me. I get like 1 million calls a day.
Yeah.
So I can't answer all the calls.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much. And guys, you can send us an email at teamkenganda@gmail.com and follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation. We'll see you next time. We're going to go to Daniel's farm.
No, we can only watch it on YouTube because you might bring diseases.
Actually, we're going to go to his farm. Bye.